that had a trailer on the back. It said it was a Land Rover that Woods was driving, and it clipped the trailer.
For more than 2 decades, the PGA Tour has built entire institutions around one man: a championship brand, a board seat, a future captaincy, a sport that, by its own commissioner's words, treats his well-being as more important than the golf itself. On March 27, 2026, that man was arrested. Tiger Woods, 15 major championships, a sitting member of the PGA Tour Policy Board, the leading voice on the Tour's future competition committee, and a name being floated for the U.S. Ryder Cup captaincy, was taken into custody on suspicion of driving under the influence near his home in Jupiter Island, Florida. What followed was not a scandal the Tour tried to bury. It was an institution stepping back, in real time, from the most powerful person in its history, because that person asked them to. Here is the complete, documented sequence of what Tiger Woods gave up, why he gave it up, and what it means for a 50-year-old body that has now failed to recapture a major title in 5 years.
Here is the full sequence of events from the afternoon of March 27, the day that triggered everything that followed. At approximately 1:53 p.m., a pickup truck towing a pressure-washing trailer was traveling on South Beach Road in Jupiter Island, a residential stretch near Woods' home, and began slowing to turn into a driveway. Martin County Sheriff John Budenseek confirmed the basic sequence at a press conference that evening, and Golf Channel's live coverage captured the institutional reaction within the hour. A Land Rover driven by Tiger Woods struck the back of the trailer at what deputies described as a high rate of speed. The vehicle rolled onto its driver's side and slid before coming to a stop. Woods climbed out. Deputies on scene reported signs of impairment. This is the part almost no other channel slows down on. Woods passed his breathalyzer test at the jailhouse, 0 alcohol. He was arrested anyway. That detail alone tells you this was never a drinking story. It was something else entirely, and law enforcement knew it on the scene. Drug recognition experts, DRE certified officers trained specifically to identify impairment from substances other than alcohol, assessed Woods directly. Sheriff Budenseek told reporters that these experts believed Woods was impaired. The sheriff noted that Florida statute allowed Woods to refuse a urine test, which Woods did, but that the refusal carried its own legal consequences. The sheriff also noted Woods appeared lethargic at the scene. No injuries were reported to Woods, the truck driver, or any other party. Golf Channel senior writer Rex Hoggard, on air within the hour, framed why this hit differently than past incidents in Woods' career. "I've been in this chair unfortunately numerous times when it comes to Tiger Woods and the car crash. You look at what could have happened to him. All of those things felt like they were behind him. He had been so engaged with the PGA Tour. He was part of the future competitions committee. We continue to have conversations about him being the next Ryder Cup captain." That is the entire weight of the story in one sentence, from someone who has covered every Tiger Woods crisis for 2 decades. This one arrived exactly when everyone thought the crisis chapter of his life was finally closed.
So with breaking news here, he has just shared with the world that Tiger Woods was arrested. It was a pressure washing truck that had a trailer on the back. It said it was a Land Rover that Woods was driving, and it clipped the trailer of the truck and rolled over on the driver's side. Tiger climbed from the vehicle. It was reported that the officers saw signs of impairment. That led to the arrest of Tiger Woods. He did pass a breathalyzer at the jailhouse. He refused to take a urine test. There were apparently no injuries to either of the parties, either the gentleman in the truck or to Tiger himself at this time. The sheriff specifically mentioned that DRE experts believed that Woods was impaired, and then he noted specifically that Florida statutes allow him to refuse the urine test. And then he noted that he was lethargic on the scene. So, Mark, a lot to take in here and some pretty shocking news.
Yeah, this is a sad day, really. I think it's a very sad day, and there's a lot of implications of which we're not going to know a whole lot for a while, obviously. I just don't know what to think. I look at the timeline on the other car accidents, and then I think about what happened this afternoon, and it makes me nervous. I just have this really nervous feeling about it, and yet I don't know how any of this is really going to...
Rex Hoggard said something easy to miss. He had been reporting that same day that Woods had signed up to play the U.S. Senior Open. Hours before the arrest, Woods was moving toward a competitive return. By midnight, he was in a Martin County jail cell. Here is exactly what Tiger Woods gave up in the days that followed, and why none of it happened under institutional pressure. 4 days after the arrest, on April 1st, Woods entered a written plea of not guilty in Martin County Court. He waived his scheduled arraignment and demanded a jury trial. That same day, he posted a public statement that went far beyond addressing the legal case.
Woods wrote that he understood the seriousness of his situation and that he was stepping away to seek treatment and focus on his health. Confirmed in subsequent reporting from CBS Sports and Yardbarker's field-level media wire service, that stepping away included voluntarily leaving his seat on the PGA Tour policy board, stepping back from the future competition committee he had been actively shaping, and withdrawing his name from consideration for the United States Ryder Cup captaincy. Nobody removed Tiger Woods from anything. He removed himself. That distinction matters because it is the opposite of what almost every other major sports scandal looks like. There was no vote, no board pressure, no ultimatum reported anywhere. He decided the job came second to his recovery, and he said so in writing. PGA Tour CEO Brian Rolap's response, issued within hours of Woods' statement, made the tour's posture explicit. Woods is one of the most influential figures the sports world has ever known, and his decision to step away had Rolap's full respect and support. A tour spokesperson confirmed the future competition committee's work would simply continue without him, not paused, not thrown into chaos, just continuing. This is the part worth sitting with. The single most powerful voice in tour governance walked away from 3 major positions of influence in the same week he was fighting a DUI charge, and the institution's official response was support, not scrambling. That calm is itself the story, because it shows exactly how much trust Woods had built, that the tour didn't treat his absence as a crisis to manage, but as a teammate's request to honor. Augusta National Chairman Fred Ridley confirmed separately that Woods would not attend the 2026 Masters or the Champions Dinner, the second consecutive year of that absence, and would not appear at the unveiling of a refurbished municipal course at the patch that Woods had helped design.
Really good point just now. We've looked at what he has done really over the last few months. I mean, competitively, he actually played competitive golf this week at TGL. He didn't hit a lot of shots, and it was only a 10-hole match, but we saw him hit meaningful shots for the first time since the 2024 Open Championship. I was doing some reporting earlier today about him signing up to play the U.S. Senior Open. Now, it was just sort of a placeholder, according to the officials I spoke with, but that was optimistic. The idea that he wanted to play in the U.S. Senior Open Championship, that's important. And then, of course, we're having the ongoing conversation about if we were going to see him at the Masters in just 2 weeks. To turn it then and to come back to this is pretty shocking. And I have covered a lot of these. I've been in this chair, unfortunately, numerous times when it comes to Tiger Woods and the car crash in the car crash in Los Angeles just a few years ago. That, of course, was harrowing. You look at what could have happened to him. It was multiple surgeries just to repair his right leg, and he is still on the road to recovery from that. You look at the DUI. You look at the crash that happened in Jupiter before that. All of those things.
You just heard the tour's own commissioner describe the culture that explains everything that came after. This isn't a new posture invented in 2026. It's the same instinct the tour showed years earlier, now applied to a different kind of crisis. Keep that in mind as we go through what happened to his playing career next. Here is the part of the story that turns this from a governance footnote into a genuine career-ending question. What happened to Tiger Woods' 2026 playing schedule once the dust from the arrest settled? By late May 2026, Yardbarker's field-level media wire reported the next domino. Woods, who had not competed in a major tournament or any competitive event at all since 2024, made his absence from every 2026 major official by failing to submit an entry for the Open Championship. He was not eligible for the US Open. He had an exemption into the Open Championship that he simply did not use. He had previously openly discussed the possibility of returning for the Masters that same year. The March crash and DUI arrest derailed that plan entirely. Tiger Woods remains exempt at the Open Championship until he turns 60. He has a decade of eligibility sitting unused. He chose not to use a single year of it in 2026, not because he was denied entry, but because he didn't submit one. That is a man making a decision about his own body and his own readiness, not a man being shut out by anyone. The medical context matters here, and it's been documented consistently across years of reporting. Woods has endured 7 back surgeries, including a disc replacement in October 2025. A separate car accident in 2021 caused severe injuries to his lower right leg, injuries serious enough that doctors reportedly discussed amputation at the time. He has not won a tournament since the 2019 Masters. He last played a competitive round before the brief TGL appearance just weeks before the 2026 arrest at the 2024 Open Championship. Compare that to Phil Mickelson, age 55, who did submit an entry for the 2026 Open Championship, despite missing several live events that spring for a family health matter of his own. Mickelson hasn't missed an Open Championship since 2009. Woods has won the Open 3 times, 2000, 2005, and 2006, and at 50 years old, with a body that has been surgically rebuilt more times than almost any athlete in modern sports history, chose to sit this year out entirely rather than force a return. This is the actual shape of the crisis, not a chairman quitting under pressure. A 50-year-old man, fresh off a DUI arrest and entering treatment, making the harder and more honest decision. Stepping back from governance, stepping back from a captaincy, and stepping back from major championship golf, all in the same several-month window, because his body and his health came first.
Sheriff John Budenseek was very matter-of-fact with the information that he gave, apparently sticking only, Rex, to facts themselves. What about Tiger Woods? Given the legend of who Tiger is, not only in the world of golf, but in the world of sport and beyond, how significant a hit to his reputation could something like this be?
I think it's very significant, and let's be honest, he has been through numerous significant hits in his career, and when it comes to his personal life, when it comes to things that happen off the golf course. But time and time again, you look at what he does on the golf course. I'll go to Tuesday night, and it was an indoor match in TGL, and I don't think the interest has ever been higher with that team trying to play for a championship and Tiger Woods coming back.
Tiger Woods is 50 years old. He has had 7 back surgeries. He has had a leg injury serious enough that amputation was reportedly discussed. He has now had 2 DUI-related incidents in a decade and a 3rd serious vehicle accident before that. The math here isn't about scandal. It's about whether a human body can keep absorbing this much and still produce major championship golf. That's the real crisis, and it was true before March 27, 2026 ever happened. Here is what the full accurate record shows when you put all of it together instead of any single headline. Tiger Woods was arrested on suspicion of DUI in March 2026 following a crash that involved no injuries and produced 2 misdemeanor charges. He pleaded not guilty and demanded a jury trial. In the same week, he voluntarily stepped back from his PGA Tour Policy Board seat, his role on the Future Competition Committee, and consideration for the Ryder Cup captaincy, not because anyone forced him to, but because he said his health had to come first. The PGA Tour's official response was support, not panic. 2 months later, he confirms he would miss every major championship in 2026, including an Open Championship exemption he didn't even need to ask for. None of this required officials to scramble. It required one man to decide repeatedly that recovery mattered more than any title attached to his name.
The PGA Tour has spent 30 years building its modern identity around Tiger Woods, its biggest stage, its biggest brand, and now its biggest test of whether an institution can let its most powerful figure step away without falling apart in his absence. So far, it hasn't. The real question isn't whether the PGA Tour is in crisis, it's whether the man who built half its modern relevance has finally run out of body left to give it. Does Tiger Woods ever return to a board seat, a captaincy, or a major championship? Or was 2026 the year he quietly closed every door himself? Drop your answer below. Subscribe for the next update the moment his legal case or his health status changes.